This all began really when Terry told us that the old playground was going to have to come down in order to make room for the brand new Arts and Innovation Center. And at that point, then, the concept really was to reimagine the playground with our girls in mind. And that's when I approached Laura and her team, and I said, I really would like your input in terms of the new playground, in addition to the girls' input and the rest of the faculty's input into what we should put in this space. And I think part of the problem that everybody had in conceiving this space and conceptualizing it was that they couldn't see the space as bigger than what we had before. If anything, everybody thought this was going to be a much smaller space. And I kept standing here going, this is a massive space. There's a lot that we can do with it. And so Laura's team came in with the help of our compound rep, and I think as a unit we started to look at some pieces.
Yes, we came over here and walked around, and it did seem small at first, but the more we walked around, the larger it became. And then when the compound rep came in, he had a program where we could pick pieces and drop them in. And so it was fantastic because we just started looking through the catalogs and picking out the most exciting things that we could find that fit our girls. And we started with a traditional structure. We knew that the students liked to spin, and they wanted some of the teachers wanted some places for them to hang out and talk and play. And then when we found this Explorer Dome, that was sort of like the big piece that we wanted right in the front. And then we knew that there were so many great things that were going to come from that.
And the Explorer Dome was really different for all of us. We had never seen anything quite like it before. So I really started when our compound rep, Cody Burdett, showed us a video of children using the Explorer Dome. And at that point, we almost had this aha moment and said, this actually would be really perfect for our girls. Because if you look at the structure, a lot of this will develop their upper body strength. There's a lot of climbing that's involved with this. So it works on their core, it works on their upper body strength, and it works on the whole spatial piece. Because if you're up there and you're looking down, that's completely a spatial piece that the girls have to develop. So it works on their balance. Everything we wanted the girls to be able to develop in terms of their body and their fitness, this Explorer Dome actually provided it. The other thing we wanted them to be able to do is be willing to take the risk of climbing and using this apparatus without fear. And so what we built on here are resting spots or landing spots, as we would call them. So if a girl was climbing and she suddenly realized, I can't go any further, that's okay, because there's a spot where she can just kind of chill, as we call it. Just take a relax, stop, and then figure out how you get up and get down. I had one little girl actually climb up and said to me, this is the 7th way I have figured to get up and down. She goes, and I know there's so much more, and that's what we're looking for them to do.
And on this structure right here, students can climb, they can bounce, they can hang, they're stretching. Not on this structure, but on some of the other structures, they're spinning and sliding. And all of those things develop the proprioceptive sense and the vestibular sense, which we know is good for them when they go back into the classroom to learn.
So the other thing we know girls like is the social aspect. And so we had to provide them a way so that they could have that while still doing all of the strength exercises that we wanted them to do. So we have that little section over there which has kind of like a hammock scenario. So the girls like to go in there and read and socialize. But what I've seen the girls do now is take it a step further. So they have imaginative play. So they're in there and they're making a house and they're slaying dragons and whatever it is that girls want to do. But they've taken that and reimagined it in however they want to imagine it, which is perfect for our girls. The spinning piece allows them to do the spinning that they love to do in the old playground, but now they can socialize while spinning because you can get 6 girls on here as opposed to just 1. So a lot of things we learned from the old playground, we incorporated here, and we took what we knew our girls needed in the most fun, creative way that we could ever imagine, and I'm going to say that the best thumbs up for me is the faculty really like getting on this as well.
Yeah.
And fourth graders said to me, this is way cooler than St. Chris.
One of my favorite pieces is the banister bars, and that is one that when we first looked at it, we were a little bit worried about it, but really watching these girls be on it, it sort of helped them decide, should I do this or should I not? So it's really a decision that they have to make if they're confident enough to get on it. Also, once they get on it, the banister bars, they slide down, so it's activating the core and a lot of their balance. It's been really fun to watch them. I can see them make that decision in their head if they think they can do it or not.
Plus, we don't tell them how to use the equipment.
Right.
So I've seen girls climb it rather than
Right.
go down it. And we don't tell them that that's not what they're supposed to do. We're like, go ahead and explore it the way that you want to explore it, which is
Yeah.
what all of this is about.
Another piece that we've added is the pull-up and somersault bars, and that's a traditional piece of playground equipment, but those have been there for years for reasons, and it not only develops their upper body core strength, it develops their cross-body coordination, and that's another one that's been fun to watch them decide, can I do a pull-up? If I can't do a pull-up, then I'm going to do a somersault, or I'm going to continue to try to do a pull-up, and to watch them climb on it has also been entertaining.
Yes, our gymnasts really like the bars because they get to actually practice their turns and their form, which is really kind of awesome actually to watch them do that. Well, the researchers show that when girls move and actually spinning, climbing, turning, all of those things will actually activate parts of their brain, which if they go immediately into a classroom, their brains are just that much more receptive to learning anything new. You would think math would be your natural association, but we have found that it also helps with all of the language arts, so the reading is really, really important. We actually had a chuckle because we said, can we now start every day with PE? Because that would be in actually the best interest of the girls, very research proven, but obviously scheduling wise you couldn't do that. But if you could structure your perfect day, you would start it with PE, go in for an academic period, come out here for even just 15 minutes, go back in for another academic period. In other words, you would have your brain breaks, as we call them, but they're really movement breaks in order to stimulate your brain.
When they study, there are lots of studies that show that when kids come out and they run and they're playing on a playground, climbing, spinning, jumping, bouncing, hanging, all of those things actually light up the receptors in the brain that help make connections. So it makes sense for them to come out here and play and then go right into an academic setting. There are lots of studies that show that actually test scores have been increased all across the board and behavior problems have decreased.